Hola, hola, pura vida a todos. Gallo Gamer, CR, Gallo Gamer de Costa Rica. Pura vida a todos los suscriptores y al público en general. Y vamos a ver este evento de Sony Playstation, donde se rumorea que se va a anunciar al público la PlayStation 5 Pro. Estemos atentos. De acuerdo a la información, el evento durará 9 minutos. Dirigido por Mark Cerny, de los creadores de PlayStation 4 Pro. PlayStation. PlayStation. Vamos a ver qué va a enseñar la todopoderosa Sony PlayStation número 1 en gaming. De acuerdo a muchos fans, la prensa que apoyan mucho a PlayStation, que dicen que los mejores juegos están en PlayStation. Sebas juega en PlayStation 4. Fuerte luz para todos los Sonyers más Sonyers. Mikey en el limbo de Zabalito de Cotoruz, Costa Rica. Mikey, el Sony más Sonyer. Saúl Hernández, Sonyer. La Sotilla, Sonyer. Fuerte luz para todos los Sonyers. PlayStation, Sony PlayStation. Vamos a ver si anuncia un juego, hay un AAA potente. Una demo técnica de Death Stranding 2. Hideo Kojima Productions, el padre de Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater. Próximamente se viene el remake. Snake Eater 3. Metal Gear Solid. Collados juega en PlayStation 4. Yo tengo el Fortnite, lo tengo en PlayStation 5, pero la verdad es que no juego en PlayStation 5. Prefiero jugar en Xbox Series X. Hasta el momento la consola más potente del mercado. Vamos a ver esta PlayStation 5 Pro si sobrepasa las capacidades técnicas de la Xbox Series X, porque de momento la Series X tiene 12 teraflops de potencia y la PlayStation 5 tiene nada más 10,5 teraflops de potencia. Se rumorea que la PlayStation 5 Pro va a tener 33 teraflops de potencia. Entonces va a ser un salto generacional, preparándonos ya para lo que es GTA 6. El nuevo GTA va a estar increíble, va a estar de lujo. Estamos prácticamente a 2 minutos de iniciar con el evento de Sony PlayStation 5. Vamos a ver dónde están todos los Sonyers más Sonyers. Toda la gente que defiende a Sony PlayStation. Vamos a ver si salen acá al canal a ver el evento conmigo. Vamos a ver qué tiene Sony preparado. PlayStation. Collados 11. Dream PVP. Ahorita aparece M-Kill. M-Kill. Cuando está a punto de iniciar. Así se llama el evento. PS5 Technical Presentation hosted by Mark Cerny. Fuerte lupa a todos los Sonyers. PlayStation. Sony PlayStation para ZYNG Gamer, Iker el Pro, que juegan en PlayStation. Muchos de mis suscriptores acá al canal de Gallo Gamer CR son Sonyers y juegan en PlayStation.
Hi, I'm Mark Sony. I'm excited to be here to talk about the newest addition to our console lineup, PlayStation 5 Pro, and how it advances gaming technology. But first, I want to take just a minute to look at what
al grano, en verdad sí existía el
and how
PlayStation
it
5 Pro.
delivers an exceptional gaming experience.
Sí era verdad.
When PS5 debuted in 2020, it brought a lot to the table. 8 Zen 2 CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5 and enable high-speed complex gameplay, with character counts reaching into the hundreds and frame rates that can be as high as 120 frames a second. PS5 has a powerful RDNA 2 GPU, which can render anything from intricate details to fantastic worlds with vast panoramas to explore. Ray tracing allows for dramatic visual improvements, including reflections off of water or glass, and the realism that comes from real-time global illumination. A custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed, resulting in ultra-fast transitions between game worlds and data streaming rates so high that traversal speeds are essentially unlimited.
You okay? I'm working on it!
Tempest 3D audio tech brings an unparalleled sense of immersion to the sound of the games. With audio so real, you may not even need to see the enemies to know exactly where they are. Finally, the DualSense controller has haptics that let you feel through your hands what your character is experiencing inside of the game. It's wonderful to see such variety and richness of game experiences. Creators have made amazing use of the hardware capabilities, but when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance. The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be a difficult choice for players. Fidelity modes emphasize the visuals, typically through higher resolution rendering. These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing. But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppier and the controls less responsive. Performance modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity, typically choosing to run at 60 frames per second, mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates can be achieved. When asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time. Removing that decision, or at least narrowing that divide, is one of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer. To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways. Here's what we call the Big 3. First, we made the GPU much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses. The result is rendering that's up to 45% faster. Second, we made major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5. And finally, we added custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR for short. PSSR analyzes the game images pixel by pixel and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which boosts the effective resolution of the games. Game creators are adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles, and with the Big 3 involved, the results can be pretty amazing, with graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but at double the frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail and targets a super smooth 60 frames per second. Let's compare this to the Fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore much choppier.
Don't stop! We gotta lose.
This goal of delivering almost Fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling the power of PlayStation 5. Another way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus Performance mode on PS5, both of which target 60 frames per second. What we see here is a difference in detail. PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5. For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet & Clank. Distant details are much clearer. And here we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the scene, including the trees and procedural cars. So overall, some remarkable improvement to the games. On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics or smoother and more responsive gameplay. This is the big three showing their value. As you've been seeing, machine learning via the PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects, as well as to the hair and the skin in cinematics.
Open up, guys. Jorv's orders.
Good enough for me.
Ray tracing is finding broad usage as well, particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference. Allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames per second. That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy, allowing not only for better reflections and a greater variety of reflective surfaces, but also for further realism in the casting of shadows. I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro. Simply put, it's the most powerful console we've ever built, and a worthy addition to the PS5 family. Let me wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
You'll never break a legend, because they don't know we are legendary.
Igual que la filtración.
Don't let me hang.
Close your eyes. It'll be worth it.
Okay.
Did I do it? Oh, what is this? What's with all the neon?
PlayStation.
Pues puta, está carísimo. PlayStation. Yo no sé. Está cara. Y los que ya tienen la Play 5 para que se hagan para la Pro. Está un poco extraño. Yo me quedo con mi